The Prison of Perspective, written by Rudolph, narrated by Angus Freathy. Part 1. Ivan. 1. As he is driving past this tall church in South London, he sees a group of 3 veiled women walking in the opposite direction. Their black robes blow lightly in the wind, creating an impression of 3 limping blackbirds. How odd, he thinks, 2 world religions in such proximity. But immediately he checks himself. One must not think such things. And yet his mind cannot abandon the thought of 2 interpretations of the world confronting each other and causing so much uncertainty. So many people would welcome less confrontation and more harmony, more mutual understanding, especially here in London. But then, would they? He is on his way to East Grinstead, a small town some 20 miles south of London. He has to meet a business partner from Korea who is staying at the old Felbridge Hotel. His driving style is brisk. His black Audi with its snarling radiator grille and its tinted windows gives him priority in the heavy traffic due to its aggressive appearance, an aspect that has never occurred to him but is obvious to other motorists, to cyclists and pedestrians. To him it is part of the order of nature that he manages to edge forward more swiftly than most of the other cars around him. He accepts the fact that he always leaves half a dozen cars behind him between 2 sets of traffic lights as a matter of course. Embedded in the red leather interior, he lives in a world with its own rules. He only allows certain carefully filtered impressions from the outside world to enter this sphere of peaceful certainty inside his car, like the shutter mechanism of an ancient box camera opening for fractions of a second and allowing a view of the world to enter and to be frozen for eternity. His name is Ivan McGregor. He is 49 years old, and he has a good job. Financially and professionally he has no worries. At least he is not aware of any problems or dangers. His nature is generally more exploitative than altruistic. He knows he is brilliant, and he believes that others must see him in the same light. He sees himself as a dynamic man who moves with the flow of his times. If there are any things that sometimes cause him to stop and worry, they seem of minor importance, such as his name, which he never really liked. There is simply no discernible Scottish connection, in spite of his family name. It must have been several generations back that his ancestors came down from Scotland. Equally absurd and unconnected is his Russian first name. He cannot understand how his parents could have chosen such an unsuitable name. He believes it was his mother's idea, some silly protest at the height of the Cold War. According to his father, she was an idealist who honestly believed that the Soviet system had found a nearly perfect way of distributing wealth equally among its people. In the wake of the Cuba crisis in the early 60s, however, a journalist friend of hers, how close they were Ivan never learnt, took her along on his trip of political conversion, which involved weekend stays in the New Forest. One day they just did not come back from the New Forest, and their bodies were found in the oily waters of Lymington Harbour a few days later. His father never explained the details surrounding his mother's death, and Ivan never asked. Ivan always meant to take it up with his father when the mood was right, but the mood never was right. His father died, taking the secret to his grave, and all that was left to Ivan of his mother was his Russian name. Over the years he has grown accustomed to it, but he has never learned to like it. Sometimes he hesitates when he has to introduce himself in more informal settings. He feels he is some fake person using such a name, so he lets that fraction of a second elapse before admitting to his own name. Abruptly he slams on the brake. "Can't that stupid idiot see where he's going?" As he sees it, the world is not a very complex matter at all. He thinks he understands all its aspects quite naturally. He is not particularly impressed by people who make a big fuss about everything. Why make problems where there are no problems? Although he never admits it to himself, he really is convinced of his own personal superiority. He knows he is a winner. So far, his happiness has never been disturbed by failures or major worries. If things threaten to turn into unpleasant anxieties, there is always the simple solution of alcohol. Always in moderation, though. But
Sample complete. Ready to continue?